So I just want to share with you that NAIFA and NAIFA Florida is absolutely committed to providing great value to you, our financial services community. We know how important your work is to your clients and the public at large. We really appreciate that. Hey, don't you think that Wendy Weiss did an outstanding job starting our week-long symposium with her presentation, Get More Qualified Sales Appointments in the Next 24 Hours? You know, you can contact Wendy at the address that will appear in chat. If you you absolutely can just keep moving along during the presentations. You're in for a really great treat today with Bryon Holz's presentation. And these presentations would really be challenging for us to put on without the support of our sponsors. Rosenthal Agency and True Choice Financial Group, Minneapolis. At this time, I would like to introduce Robert Rosenthal, who would like to share a few words with you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. And to those of you first time, thank you for joining us. You're in for a treat today with a rock star. Just like to let you all know that, you know, I've been supporting NAIFA for many, many, many years. And, you know, life, long-term care, annuities, disability, critical illness, some life settlements. Please feel free to give me an opportunity to earn your business. Just want one case and see if I can earn the rest. We have a mobile app now. All of you use your cell phones to do business. On our mobile app, you can run term quotes and GUL quotes. You can even submit an application right from the palm of your hands without ever printing, collecting signatures, or needing to meet the client. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, send me a text in the text, and go to Google or the Apple Store and search for these 3 words, The Rosenthal Agency, and download the app. Have a great class. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Robert. Now I would like to introduce Todd Carlson of True Choice Financial, Minneapolis. Todd?
Joe, thank you, and thank you, Tom, for this opportunity to introduce True Choice Financial Group to all of you out there today. We are a field marketing organization that represents much the same as Rosenthal, life, long-term care, and annuities. We work with all the top carriers in the country. We're product agnostic. We just want to find the best solutions for your specific client. We have a full back office for life, long-term care, and annuity, including contracting, new business, case design, advanced markets, everything you need to help you through this business. Now, here we are, we're in COVID lockdown, and it's been a struggle to get in front of clients, let alone new clients. Many of my advisors are hitting the restart button right now. Even though you can't get in front of people personally right now, there's other things out there that are working, whether it be virtual seminars, social media marketing, lead programs. Joe has participated with a few of these. And I'll tell you something, if you're a fit for us and we're a fit for you, we'd love to help invest in your marketing to get that restart going. So my contact information's on the screen. You can always get it from Joe or Tom, but we would love to chat with you and see how we can help get your business going strong again. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, Todd. We are really fortunate to have 2 absolutely outstanding sponsors for this conference. I would encourage you to reach out to both Robert and Todd and see what kind of resources they can offer you to boost your practice to the next level. I'd like to share with you now, as soon as I can get my screen to work. By the end of this symposium, I'll actually know how to use my keyboard and make these slides advance properly. You know, many of us on this call are NAIFA members, but I know that some of us are not. NAIFA is an organization that's been around since 1890, and I know that Bryon's going to share more information about that, but we are primarily an advocacy group, and it is just so important to have more people adding their voice to our common message. NAIFA really does help communicate important issues to state and national legislators and regulators that, that really help protect not only our business, but our clients. NAIFA and NAIFA Florida helps educate, advocate, and distinguish insurance agents and financial advisor members. And don't forget, visit www.naifa-florida.org for information about ongoing programs, online continuing education, which will be happening July, August, and throughout the remainder of the year. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or our state office. I want to also share a message about NAIFA IFA PAC. IFA PAC is our vehicle where we can collect dollars that we can donate or contribute to political candidates, legislative candidates at the state and national level. And clearly this year has been even more of a challenge because we haven't been able to meet in person and promote the need for contributions. So Taylor Collins came up with this brainchild about promoting our cause through Tips and Sips this Thursday. The primary goal is advocacy. So please register and plan to attend Tips and Sips this Thursday, July 16th at 4 p.m. to support our NAIFA Florida Political Committee. Our very own Bryon Holz, that's right, the same Bryon Holz that's presenting today, our Tim Meenan, our chief lobbyist, and our president-elect, Greg Duncan, will be attempting to do two things at the same time. Good luck. Sharing their favorite adult beverages at the same time as illustrating unique ways to stay connected with clients and legislators in a post-COVID world. We will then be auctioning off their personally selected handcrafted beverage packages to the highest bidder. So bring your checkbook and get ready for some fun. Special thanks to Prudential Annuities for making this evening more special by providing NAIFA Florida glass tumblers to the first 100 members who register. But remember, it's members only. You need to be a NAIFA Florida member in order to participate in this outstanding event. You may register at naifa-florida.org. Don't worry, if you're not a member, we can fix that. When you get to naifa-florida.org, just hit join. Finally, I'd like to share a few words about our NAIFA Florida Education Foundation. The NAIFA Florida Education Foundation was reestablished in 2015 to educate the public, NAIFA Florida members, and those wishing to pursue a career in financial services. Since the NAIFA Florida Education Foundation was reestablished, we have given hundreds of dollars away to scholarship recipients for NAIFA Florida members who have attended Leadership in Life Institute, commonly referred to as Lilly, and also helping them attend state conferences and the Day on the Hill in Tallahassee. In addition to that, we gave our first college scholarship away during our 2020 Day on the Hill event in Tallahassee. So congratulations to Catherine Ayala, and we look forward to honoring our next college scholarship recipient in the near future. Visit nfef.org to learn more. Now, oh yes, we need to extend thanks to Diana Shipley and Ashley Jessup. So thank you so much, ladies, for all you do for NAIFA Florida. Oops. Well, we'll get there eventually. I'd like to turn the mic back over to Tom Ashley, NAIFA Florida CEO, who will introduce today's speaker.
Great, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. We're pleased today to have Bryon Holz, CLU, ChFC, LUTCF, CASL, LACP. Bryon is, of course, from here in Florida. His practice was founded in 1983 in Brandon, Florida. He provides investments and insurance to successful individuals and business owners throughout the Southeast. Bryon Holz and Associates specializes in wealth accumulation, retirement income, asset preservation, and legacy planning strategies. Throughout his career, Bryon has served on several professional association boards, including as president of both the Tampa Bay and Florida state chapters of NAIFA, and then he served as NAIFA trustee for 4 years. Bryon has also earned life membership in the prestigious $1 Million Roundtable. He's received the highest recognition awards from both NAIFA Tampa Bay and NAIFA Florida. He's a graduate of Leadership Brandon and NAIFA's prestigious Leadership in Life Institute, what we refer to as Lilly. Twice serving as its moderator, he also regularly speaks to audiences around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, with sensational client service, I'm pleased to introduce to you Bryon Holz.
Thank you so much, Tom, and great afternoon, NAIFA, Florida. It's so great to be here with all my friends around the state and possibly around the NAIFA nation. It's just so good to see you all and to be with you. Obviously, things are a little different today. Things are a little different this week. So we can still get this synergy, though, through this wonderful medium. I hope you pick up something from my sharing today. And I know we all know a lot's changed. We've got this new normal and all. But whereas some of what I'm going to share with you today may need to wait a little bit till after we get back to what things used to be a little bit more, much of what I'm going to share with you today is even more important and more valuable than ever before. So again, take some notes. We're going to have the handout. We're going to have the slides. We're going to have Q&A. I hope we have a great time together, and I'm looking forward to rocking with you for the next 40 minutes or so. So first of all, happy anniversary, 130 years to NAIFA. That's an awfully long time. Very few things have been around 130 years. So I want to invite each and every one of you to take and accept the NAIFA 130 challenge on social media. If you haven't seen this before or haven't done it yet, please do so because it's a big deal. 130 years, NAIFA. And by the way, thank you to Tom for that introduction and being our moderator today. Thank you for our president, Joe Challam. You're doing a great job. And to our sponsors this week as well. Unfortunately, Cheryl, who's been moderating, Cheryl Canzanella, NAIFA Yat of the Year from Florida, couldn't be here today to moderate, but she'll be here, I believe, the rest of the week. So it's a great team putting this on this week, and I'm grateful to be a part of this. You know, we're very mindful of those who couldn't be with us today, those who are suffering through this, those who continue to suffer in these challenging times. So we want to be grateful and thankful and keep them in mind and remember all the essential workers. But at the end of the day, please don't forget what each and every one of you do. What we do as financial service professionals is certainly essential. So don't forget that what we do is important, and what we do as NAIFA is very important. Like many of you have had many trips and many opportunities this year that have fallen by the wayside, had to be canceled or postponed because of everything. Trips to Boston, Anaheim. I was supposed to speak at the main platform in Dubai at the MDRT global meeting. All that's gone virtual now, but we'll make do. We'll make it work, and we're going to make it as good or better than ever before. Before the meeting, I was thinking, one of the things they always say before you go on before a large audience, they say, just don't get nervous. Just imagine that everyone's dressed in their underwear or their pajamas, or even less than that. I think today, I don't have to imagine that. I'm sure some of us here today are in their pajamas or other things. So I'm glad you're comfortable. Sit back, relax, and we're going to just have a great time and a great sharing today. NAIFA has been around a long time, and they've been responsible for some incredible things. And this bears repeating. They're the largest, most prestigious, best membership organization for both the agent and the advisor community. We're the only organization serving and representing insurance and financial advisors regardless of the products that they sell or the focus of their practice. We've got insurance agents, financial advisors, multi-line agents, health insurance and employee benefit specialists, captive, independent. I don't like that word captive. I imagine them in little cages, but anyone who's new to the business or who's been around for 30 years or longer, new and old, NAIFA has the best advisors in the business. Surveys consistently show that NAIFA members earn more than their peers. So if you're not a NAIFA member, you need to be one. And I invite you to join us at this time. NAIFA isn't good because it's been around 130 years. NAIFA's been around 130 years because we're that good. And here are just some of the organizations and institutions which NAIFA had a hand in founding or putting together. The American College, MDRT, we gave birth to the MDRT in 1927. LUTC, Gamma, AALU, AHIA, Life Happens. We're going to talk about Life Happens. If you're not using Life Happens, you need to be using Life Happens. Of course, the Leadership in Life Institute, which is a special love of mine. The LACP, the Life and Annuity Certified Specialist. If you don't have that, right now is the time to do that because there's a special going on during the pandemic. Hurry up and look at it. If you work in life insurance or annuities, you need to have your LACP. Of course, the Alliance for Lifetime Income, we're going to talk about that a little bit more because that rocks my soul. And financialsecurity.org, which is amazing. In fact, let's talk about financialsecurity.org. Take your phone out right now, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, and be sure that you like, follow, and share financialsecurity.org or NAIFA for consumers, because this is NAIFA's consumer face. This is the public one, good for you and your clients and your future clients. This is something that's a third party. It's a third point of view that you can share and like, and it's a great resource. They've got all kinds of things on there. If you're not using financialsecurity.org in your practice and you're a NAIFA member, you need to use that. So do that right away, right today, and there's how you can do it there at the bottom of your screen. Okay, a minute ago I was talking about Life Happens. This is one of the organizations that NAIFA's got a huge, tremendous partnership with. And if you're not using their materials, I encourage you to do so. They're powerful. We've had them extensively in our social media, lifehappens.org. We've had such spokespeople as Brooke Shields and Danica Patrick with Life Insurance Awareness Month, Insure Your Love, Disability Insurance Awareness Month. So if you don't use Life Happens, do it and do it today. Just a wonderful resource. A few months ago, when we started entering the pandemic, we were extremely proactive in reaching out to our clients and making sure that they were touched with emails, with phone calls, with US mail, and in social media. Some of our clients were literally moved to tears, knowing how safe their assets were, how much they were protected, how much we cared, how much the annuities that we've put in place for them have protected their assets, or their diversification, and helping them not panic and just hold on to their positions a few months later actually help them avoid all that terrible, terrible initial volatility that we had. Not avoid it, but get through it. So if you're not in touch with your clients and using this as an opportunity, I encourage you to do so. In fact, in the last 3 years, we've written millions of dollars of life insurance and protected many more dollars in annuities and invested in mutual funds when the market's low. So it's been a win-win for our clients, for our companies, and for our practice. Why? Because we've been in touch. We're essential to our clients. It's important that they know that we care and that we reach out to them. And I'm sharing this with you right now because if you use Facebook, and you can use this for other mediums as well, you can go on there and you can get this frame for your picture to align yourself with NAIFA and remind everyone that what we do as a profession and what NAIFA does matters and that we're essential. So be sure to do that. Again, you can update your Facebook profile picture by surfing for NAIFA under the frames. All right. NAIFA's got a lot of great things. Sure, we've got programs, all kinds of things. So the question is, what's our greatest treasure? What's NAIFA's greatest treasure? Is it our advocacy? Sure, that's really important. Is it our ethics? You can't live without ethics, right? You can't do a good job. Is it our programs? We have the best. But you know what? Our greatest treasure is you, our members. It's each and every one of us. And that's the greatest strength that we have. It's our greatest treasure. And so I encourage you at the end of this program to reach out and touch base with someone that maybe saw on the call, on the meeting, who you haven't talked to in a while. See how they're doing. NAIFA Tampa Bay did that at the beginning of the pandemic. It was fantastic. It just reminds us how important that we are. And the greatest strength of any organization is our synergy and our unity and our collectiveness. So that's fantastic. And I encourage you to remember that. Yes, we all are there for our clients, but we're also there for each other. So thank you for that to my friends on this call who have reached out, and hopefully I've done that as well. Any foreigner fans out there? I was never a big Foreigner fan until about 10 years ago, and I realized they had such great music and great lyrics, and they really stood the test of time. And this reminds me of them. Do you remember your first time? Let's think about that. Do you remember, you know, the song by Foreigner, Feels Like the First Time? But take a minute. Do you remember your first NAIFA meeting? Do we have any first-timers on the call today? If you're a first-timer, type FT in the chat box, please. So let us know you're a first-timer. We'd like to especially welcome all the first-timers here on the call. And take another minute and think about the first time you're at a NAIFA meeting, maybe the first time you were at a Day on the Hill or congressional conference. Think about your first death claim. My first death claim was twin teenage boys on two ATVs. Real tragic. Your first disability claim. Mine, a single teacher with no other source of income. Remember your first client to retire, maybe how you help them with mutual funds or annuities. And you know what? In all these circumstances, what do I remember hearing? Bryon, I don't know what it would have done without you and what you did for us and with us. So think about your first time and remember that when you're visiting with your next prospect, your next client, your next colleague, and remember to share that with them and keep that in mind, because that energizes me just like Foreigner does with that song. So small premiums can turn into large results, whether it's a death claim or an investment later on. What we do is truly sacred. It's a little bit like the story of the fishes and the loaves. A little bit here and there grows to something really big. NAIFA is a great example of that as well. So let's not forget that. Now on to the presentation. I have to be careful about how I say this, but why is it important to engage as many of the senses as possible when we're working with clients and prospects? Think about it. We have how many senses? 5: sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. So why is it important to make sure we engage all of those, right? We're just insurance salespeople or financial service professionals. What's all of this up? What's this about? Well, engaging the full palette of senses strengthens our communication, improves understanding, and enhances our relationships with our clients. You may have heard the expression, some are visual learners and some are audio learners. Well, I learn best by taste personally, but the reality is we all learn by a combination of senses and sensory input. So that's why the more you enhance, the more you engage your clients and prospects' senses in a variety of ways, the more fully engaged they'll be. And why is that important? Well, because it's even more important than ever before during this pandemic, for example, to be able to reach out and connect with them. We're craving that connection. We all want more connection. And if we can't meet with someone in person, we can engage them in other ways. And we're going to get to some of those ways in a minute. But the greatest challenge I found that we've had as advisors is how to connect, how to engage our clients and prospects. And these are the ways I've been able to do that, by engaging all of their senses. And whenever I want to do something with our clients, I always think about, well, would this pass the John Denver test? Everyone know who John Denver is? He left way too early years ago, but he's a great singer-songwriter, and one of his most beautiful songs was Annie's Song. And I think you all know that song. How does it begin? You fill up my senses. So I want to make sure anything I do with my clients or prospects engages as many senses as possible and passes the John Denver test and fills up the senses. Let's start with your office. Some of you may be opening your offices now, some may be waiting for later on, but when your clients or prospects enter your office, does it grab them right up front? Do they smell something good? How does it smell? How does it reflect who you are? We sometimes have candles, air freshener, but we almost always have coffee. And you know what I hear? Bryon, your office always smells so good. And we take a special effort to make sure it does. Some folks, some offices, they actually bake fresh baked cookies in their office. Now I don't do that, but I'm open to the idea. Again, as I was mentioned earlier, I'm from Tampa Bay, Florida, And Tampa Bay is known for a lot of things. One of those things we're known for, or who, is Gallagher. And many of you may remember Gallagher. What is he known for? He had the sledge-o-matic. He would smash things, and there was even a splatter zone in the front of the audience, kind of like at SeaWorld. If you were sitting in the front, you knew you were going to get splattered. What did he know? He knew that if he engaged the audience, physically engaged them with watermelon and other things, that he would better connect with his audience. And that was a part of his success. So I keep that in mind as well. One of the things I've done with clients, and especially with prospects, some of you may have heard this before, I did it at a state conference once or training meeting, is I would hand them a bar of soap at the beginning of a meeting. Now, why would I hand them a bar of soap? Well, first of all, it engages their senses. They see it, they touch it, they hear the crinkle, they smell it. And if they're like that guy, the boy in the Christmas Story, they might even taste it. That's a great movie, by the way. I love that. But it gets them thinking. It engages their senses. And then I ask them, why do you think I'm sharing this soap with you? And of course, one of the most important things we can do as an advisor is listen. And I'll listen. And they'll say the funniest things. They'll say, well, is this a comment on my personal hygiene? Or perhaps you think I need to clean things up a bit. I don't know. Or sometimes they say, you're going to help me launder my money. And we laugh, and then I share with them, well, no, the real reason I'm sharing this with you is a reminder about what we do. Because soap is a little bit, money is a little bit like soap, isn't it? And why is money like soap? Because the more you try and hold on to money, the more you touch money, the more you hold on to it and keep it in your hands, the more it flows away, doesn't it? That's what happens. So my job is to help you put that away, not hold on to it, not touch it, and make sure you have it later on. And that's just another tangible way of engaging your client's senses. Another thing we do is we send out a lot of mail. And again, here in the pandemic, this is even more important than ever before, to engage their senses. We send out birthday cards to all the members of our clients' families, especially the children and spouses, because they're the ones that are going to be our future clients. In fact, I sold this in the last month over $2 million to the children of some of my clients who have finally grown up, got married. Uncle Bryon, you always sent me the birthday card, always got the gum, and we include gum in the envelope, and it's time that we buy some insurance and start an IRA with you. So we include two things in these birthday cards. First, we include gum. Now, why do we include gum, a stick of gum? Well, when they get the envelope, when they get that in the mail, first of all, they feel it. It's a little heavy. It's a little lopsided. So it engages their sense of touch. Then they open it up, and then they see it. Oh, there's something a little special in there for me, right? They're able to really anticipate that. Remember Pavlov's dog? They kind of salivate. Well, when you see gum, most individuals, they start salivating because they're ready for that gum. Then they smell the minty deliciousness of that gum. They hear the crinkle as they open it up. And then finally, what do? They enjoy the gum. So we've engaged all of their senses for what? 5 cents. It's an amazing way to engage them in a very simple way, but a very powerful way. And as you can see what we say on the gum, have an extra special day. Social media gets filled up with clients saying, thanks for the gum, got the gum, love it, appreciate it. But if they're in the local Brandon area, I have a client, a friend, who has an ice cream shop. So we also include a certificate, a card, good for free ice cream at Topper's Ice Cream in Brandon. And let me tell you, it is so delicious. It is so good. And we get these cards for like $1.25, and my clients love them, and no one eats ice cream alone. Well, most don't eat it alone. They bring their friends, they bring their family, and they say, yeah, I got this ice cream, it's from Bryon. So again, it's another way of engaging our clients' senses and showing that we care and being a little bit out of the normal. So yes, it's great to call your clients on their birthday. Yes, it's wonderful to post something on the internet or send them an email, but I'm in the old school. We want to engage them and engage their senses however we can. Now, think for a minute, do you have a special passion in your life, a special hobby or something you really enjoy, perhaps golf or tennis or something like that? Well, most of you who know me, I like to rock. one of my greatest passions is music. So what I encourage you to do is take that passion, take that hobby. You know, no one says you can't have fun in our profession. So leverage that hobby, leverage that passion into your profession and use it to market yourself and use it to break those barriers and to engage other senses with your clients. So what I do, for example, if you're a big golf fan, if you love golf, hand out personalized golf tees to prospects and at meetings. Have a charity golf tournament. Have ball markers instead of business cards. You know, whatever you can do to leverage that in your practice, and do that. Guess what my Twitter handle is? Bryon Holz Rocks, of course. Branding in this manner includes concert outings with clients when they come back, lunches and dinners at the Hard Rock, plenty of branding. We recently updated our brand to include, I don't know if you can see that. We use the Rolling Stone font for a lot of what we do. So we're just trying to make sure that when people think of Bryon, they think of rock and roll and all the different senses that those engage. I shared with you earlier at the beginning the Alliance for Lifetime Income. This is one of my favorite ways to co-brand what we do. You may have seen them at the Performance Plus Purchase in Orlando last year. The Alliance for Lifetime Income, it partners with NAIFA and some of the top insurance companies and investment companies in our profession. Companies like American Funds and Jackson National and Prudential Annuities. And again, NAIFA. So if you go to their website, you'll find some incredible resources that you can use, and a lot of them that can be branded for you, personally co-branded for your practice, and use them with your clients and prospects. It's just a wonderful way to co-brand what I think is a great way to talk to baby boomers. The latest thing they're doing is they sponsored last year's, and we're supposed to sponsor this year's Rolling Stones US North American tours. So I'm all over that. In fact, they have a lot of stuff available. We got this, I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna have to change that background. Just a great way to reach out to the baby boomers who do what they do. Let me change that. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. Okay, the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Look them up, follow them on Facebook and on social media, and use them if you work with annuities at all. Another thing that I do is we like to, of course, reach out and share with our community. And it makes a lot of sense that we do this through something called instrumentsofchange.com. My good friend Jeff Chernoff first introduced me to this charity, and they do a wonderful job of reaching out in the community with music programs. Now, why is this important? Because they've found if you get youngsters involved with musical programs and in band programs specifically, they have a greater chance of graduating from college, staying in school, staying off drugs, getting a full-time job, and just being a better member of society. So this has been a real passion of mine, and we not only have participated in a lot of ways with donations, I've volunteered, I've been on the board, but we've also at our annual holiday mailing, we include a gift on behalf of all of our clients to this charity. So we really make sure that we pick something that goes along with our branding. And again, you can do the same thing. If it's a charity golf tournament or anything else that you have a passion for, leverage that and use it in all areas. And it's really just a great way to promote something important. Now, about 15 years ago, one of my friends was putting on an event in our parish. It was Breakfast with Santa. And they asked me if I would help sponsor the tickets. I said, of course I would. It was very inexpensive. And they said, guess what? We'll even put your name on the bottom of the ticket. And the price was ridiculously low. And it was great press. It was great promotion for our practice. Well, guess what? 3-4 months later, they're having breakfast with the Easter Bunny. And they asked for a sponsor for that. Well, it got to the point where any event in the greater Brandon area where they needed tickets, they would call me, and I would be the one who would sponsor the tickets. So I became known as the ticket master of Brandon. And again, the cost is oftentimes very, very small. And when they have these tickets, they'll be able to see you and relate to you with the event, which usually includes food, and all their senses are engaged at an event. So it's a wonderful way to leverage what you do in a manner that's going to promote your practice. Many of you know here in Tampa Bay that we're known for the Outback. It's the home of the Outback chains and all the different chains related to them. Now, many of you probably like to take your clients out to dinner or lunch for business purposes, and obviously that's changed. So personally, I don't like to do that unless it's tied into an event. I don't like to do business over a meal. I'd rather just send them a gift card at Christmas or to thank them for their business or referrals. And I always do it with an Outback card because, again, it's the home team and there are a lot of different options for them. Again, remember, $100 max is the limit, I believe, for most of us here per person. So we do a lot of that, and people know at Christmas time, they're going to get an Outback card from Bryon, Holz and Associates. I mentioned earlier that we send out a lot of mail, and that's important to me because I think we crave that connection even now more than ever before. So what we do is we send out, I personally try and send out at least 1 or 2 handwritten thank you cards or notes of gratitude on a daily basis. And many of you on this call have received such a card, I'm sure. And we send them out, they're handwritten. I like the You Rock ones. We do a lot of commemorative stamps. And look at these stamps here for a minute. Now, I used to collect stamps as a youngster, and I still enjoy stamps. But I don't know if you realize this, they can jump out like nobody's business. When they get mail from our office, they know it's going to be something special. You look up there, a lot of these are musicians and rock stars. A lot of them attract baby boomers and are really kind of cool, like the Hot Wheels, Wonder Women. You see those at the bottom, those ice cream popsicle treats there. Can you believe those are scratch and sniff? How awesome is that? Those engage the senses. On the bottom right hand, those are heat sensitive stamps. These don't cost anymore. Heat sensitive. You touch it, it goes from an eclipse to see the sun. The T-Rex series, those are 3D stamps. I mean, these stamps are incredible, and they're a way, again, to reach out and be different for your clients. And I encourage you to at least try and send out at least 1 or 2 handwritten cards a day or even a week, because it's not only good for your clients and prospects and your friends, but guess what? It's good for us. It's good for the person who's writing them to share that gratitude and feel that goodness about that. Scotty Brennan and others have shared that over the years, and I think that's just really important to make sure that we don't lose that sense. Another thing we do is we use these labels, these anniversary labels, and we put on everything that we send out and have. And guess what? You can use these the year before your anniversary and long after the anniversary year. They're very inexpensive, they're very cool, and even if you've only been around 5 years, you could still get labels like this. And it shows, hey, in our profession, 5 years is a long time. They say 80% don't make it the first 2 years. So for those of you in your first 2 years, hang in there, it's tough, you can do it. And those who have been around 5 years or longer, congratulations, don't give up, don't stop believing. And why don't you consider using some labels like these on all of your correspondence and things that you give out. Now, how many of you out there know Bill Cates? Bill Cates is the referral king, and he came up with this idea, this slogan, and we've used it. And Tom actually has the actual template that I use for all of our correspondence. It's the Don't Keep Me a Secret sheet. Many of you have seen this again before. Tom's going to share that with you. We put this on everything that we send out, and it's a way to keep that in their mind. It's something that helps bring referrals. We never ask for referrals. They always come to us. So that's a great way to, again, engage more of the senses and have a little fun in our correspondence. Now, years ago, we used to have VHS tapes and cassette tapes, and then those gave way to CDs and DVDs, and now there are flash drives and UPC codes and things. But at the end of the day, many of us have opportunities to share, whether it's a YouTube video or website, share video presentations of our products and services. And I know that that hasn't been as physical as it has been in the past, physically handing them something, but you can still do that through the mail. And what I like to do whenever I share something like that is I include some popcorn, some microwave popcorn. Again, that engages all the senses, and like Tom Hegna does with his DVDs, and that, by the way, those are great. That's another great way to engage someone. Send them one of his DVDs and some popcorn, some microwave popcorn. So you've got popcorn in a movie. And, you know, if you do that, it increases the chance of them watching it. And again, it increases your connection with your prospects and with your clients. So think about ways you can do that. And that's just one of the many ways to do that. Now, this idea may need to wait a little bit longer because of the pandemic, but you know what? It's still a great idea. Cakes. When my clients retire, I'm known as the retirement party cake guy. And I've been known to bring up to 6 huge cakes to a retirement party at any given time. And so that's just something that I encourage you to try and do with your clients. If it's their birthday and they work in an office, again, when things get back to normal, bring by a birthday cake. And everyone's going to ask, well, that's a nice cake. Where's the cake from? It's from my financial advisor, Bryon Holz, of course. And in Florida, also known as Heaven's Waiting Room, you may know that we have a large population of retirees. And one thing that I try and do, and it's really something special, and I think you can still do this in the pandemic, is bring by a cake to a widow or widower, maybe on the 6 months or 18-month anniversary of losing a loved one. Just a cake, just because. You know, do it on the anniversary of the 1-year anniversary. That's usually a little sensitive. But just bring a cake by to someone who's living by themselves, someone who's alone, and someone who would enjoy a little cake. Who doesn't enjoy a little cake? So that's one way of reaching out and making sure that we engage their senses and show some appreciation for our clients. I shared earlier that we like to have coffee in the office smelling really good. Back in the day, I know it was a big deal to give coffee cards, gift cards like to Starbucks or to Dunkin' Donuts. Now, if you want to know something intimate about a client, and we probably know a lot of intimate things about our client, you can probably guess which ones like Starbucks or which ones like Dunkin' Donuts. And that's not always, but often related to their political background or political beliefs. But I don't like giving gift cards for coffee. I like giving them the actual bag of coffee. And you can guess why, because it engages all their senses. They can touch it, smell it, hear it, see it. And it's more than just a card. And again, in the pandemic, I've gone to my clients' homes and left things for them on their doorstep with them knowing I was coming. I didn't just do it out of the totally without an advance warning. And things like coffee would be very much appreciated with my anniversary label, of course, and personalization. Now, in 2008, many of you remember we had the worst financial crisis, at least in many of our lifetimes. And around that time, early on, like I did this time, we thought of a way to reach out to our clients. So what we did is we sent out this tea, a tea bag from Tazo Tea. They used to be sold in Starbucks. I think you can get them just about anywhere now. Publix, we ordered them through Publix, got a bunch of them. You can get them through Amazon. But we sent them this bag of calm tea, along with a piece on the importance of staying through the markets and not trying to time the markets. So this was just another way of, again, thinking outside of the box and helping them to pause, reflect, not make any rash decisions, and think about us before they make a bad mistake. And again, we've done something similar to that this time. We're going to share more about that with you in a minute. Now, if you're working with accountants or bookkeepers about tax planning and want to work with their clients, this is a great idea to use near the end of the calendar year. But if you're going to use this with actual clients, it's good to use it early in the calendar year, January, February. And basically, the approach is to use those little medicinal packets. Need relief from taxes? Let us show you some powerful tax saving strategies. And these are very easy to obtain in Sam's Club, Costco, Amazon. And it's a great way to, again, engage their senses and get them thinking, yeah, it is time to contribute or add to my IRA or do some tax planning. One of the ways we market a lot in our agency, in our practice, is using wine. And again, Thursday night, we're going to go into a lot more detail about how we do that. But basically, this year, early in the pandemic, we went to a lot of our clients' homes and dropped off a bottle of Bryon Holz wine, along with, can you see that? Some toilet paper. And believe it or not, they were more excited about the toilet paper than they were about the wine. And if they didn't drink wine, we included a gift card for a local restaurant or something like that. So what we're trying to do is engage their senses and show them appreciation. By the way, this wine, and I know some of you have used it before, it's very reasonable, very inexpensive. You can personalize it, and it runs about $15 or even less a bottle. So if you want more information about that, ask me and we'll talk about it later. But it's a great way to engage your client's senses. And what we do when we do wine tastings is we have a presentation where we talk and use Callan charts. And the Callan chart shown there on the screen basically shows the best to worst asset class in each year. And we relate that to how different vintages, different types of wine have good years and not so good years. So it's a little way to tie that in with our clients and make sure that they enjoy themselves at the same time. Total Wines, many of them have a classroom you can use. Many of you have wineries there in your area, in your neighborhood, in your backyard. We've used all kinds of locations for that and often had sponsors, product sponsors to join us with that. So join us Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock for that special Sips and Tips. And if you remember, Jeff Chernoff, my dear friend, said, you're not a member of NAIFA Tampa Bay unless you've received a bottle of Bryon Holz wine. It's a great thing to bring to chamber meetings, to functions, for door prizes, again, when we get back to our normal, but it's a wonderful way to brand what you do. And again, if you like golf or tennis, bring personalized golf balls as a gift for the next meeting you go to, or give those out. Whatever it is, leverage that and engage as many senses as possible, like we do here. Now, a few years ago, NAIFA Florida had a speaker from South Florida. I'm not sure if he's around anymore, but he had an intriguing story about a study that was done years ago by Stanford. And what they did is they took youngsters and gave them a marshmallow. So that's a great way to engage your clients and prospect senses. If you're working with grandparents or parents, give them a couple marshmallows in a bag. Now, the study went on to work like this. They put a marshmallow in front of the child on the table, and they said, this marshmallow is yours. It's yours to have, free and clear. You can eat it. You can do what you want. No problem. It's yours. But if you wait, we might give you another marshmallow. So what they did is they videotaped it. It was kind of cool, a little sneaky. And they saw that some of the youngsters, some of the children would eat it right away, and some would wait and delay that gratification. And it was interesting to see when they were given the marshmallow later on, those who wait, and how their reaction was. But the study went further, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and they studied these individuals, and the ones that were able to delay that gratification became much more successful in their lives professionally and personally. So this study showed a lot of neat things about the importance of being able to delay gratification. Now, how does that relate to our practice? Of course, in our profession, the more you delay, the more you can save for the future, the better off you're going to be. Isn't that right? So if you're working with grandparents or parents, it's great for 529s. It's great for any kind of legacy planning. And I'll give them a bag with 2 marshmallows. I like those really big ones that they make for s'mores. I couldn't find them in the pandemic. But marshmallows is another way to engage the senses and talk about legacy planning. Sometimes, and I know this in music, any musicians out there, sometimes it's not just what you play, but what you don't play. Sometimes it's not just what you say, but what you don't say. So sometimes it's not just about how you engage the senses, but times when you don't engage the senses. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I need to get this call. It could be my dad. Hello? Yes, this is Bryon. Tom, how are you, Tom? Yes, thank you. You got my letter. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Oh, but there wasn't anything in it. That's right. You got, Why wasn't there anything in it, Tom? Yes. The reason why there was nothing in the envelope was that was just a follow-up to our last conversation. because what's in the envelope is what your family would have should you suffer a disability, or even worse, should you not come home from work. That's right. That's what's in the envelope. Yeah. When would be a great time to follow up on that? I'm on a call right now. Would next Thursday be good, around 10? Great. Thank you. We'll talk to you then, Tom. All right. Bye. So again, it's not just what you do, but what you don't do. Using a blank envelope to follow up on a conversation or client meeting that you didn't close is a great reminder of what your client or prospect would receive should they not be properly insured for disability or life insurance. And that's a great tool that I learned at a NAIFA Tampa meeting years ago. So don't be afraid to look at what notes you're playing, but what notes you aren't playing. Kind of like yin and yang. We love social media. We use social media extensively. We have, our assistant does it a whole month in advance, and we just love it. So if you're not following us, if you're not liking us on social media, we invite you to do that. We invite you to steal whatever you want. We always try and put birthday greetings on our friends' pages, and we've got some specific for the pandemic there. We always personalize them with our little name there in the corner. We have a calendar. In fact, this calendar I got, I think it's from one of our sponsors later in the week. It has some great quotes on it every day. And if I see a particularly good one, I'll make up a little meme for it and we'll use that. So we think that's really important to engage with our clients, fill up their senses, get them thinking, and make sure they have a steady stream of good information about your insurance and investments and risk management and all that. But it's just as important to engage them with the fun things as well, whether it's National Grilled Cheese Day or a major musician's birthday, John Lennon's birthday, or something like that. So use social media, enjoy it. And if you need help figuring that out, again, we do a month at a time, or if you need help putting your name in the corner there of the picture, we can help you do that. It's really pretty simple once you figure it out. And again, we focus on music and we focus on baby boomers. So that's the two things that we try and do. If you're into golf, if you're into tennis, you can certainly do that as well. Well, here are the ways you can connect with us on social media, on all the various media. On Pinterest, my assistant puts all of my cufflink collection and my rock concert t-shirt collection. We do a lot of different things on different mediums here, so we mix it up a bit. But the important thing is that we keep our clients engaged and our prospects engaged, and we make sure that they know we're here for them. Feel free again to borrow whatever you like. We're here to share. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that NAIFA is here 24/7 for you. NAIFA is here to support you as an advisor, as an agent. We're here to support each other. So at the end of this meeting, perhaps you've seen someone here in the audience who you haven't talked to in a while, or someone you don't really know yet, haven't really gotten to know yet. I encourage you to reach out and connect with them and touch base with them and share, because that's really our greatest treasure. And the greatest ideas I've received have been from our fellow members. Believe it or not, over the phone, we can do it just like this in meetings that are virtual as well as in person. So don't wait for someone to reach out and talk to you. You reach out and talk to them. Promise? Promise to do that. Okay. As a final reminder, Life Happens has some great materials. I encourage you to do that. Remember, what you do is essential. What you do makes a difference. And what NAIFA does helps us do that 24/7. I want to thank you for being on this call with us today. I think we have a few extra minutes for some questions and answers. So thanks for your time, and let's get to it.
Bryon, we didn't have very many questions per se, but several comments. They loved your ideas. And if anybody has any questions, though, at this time, feel free to enter them into the chat feature.
Again, we have a handout that Tom's going to share with a reminder of all the topics we spoke of. And go ahead, take them, share them, steal them. Most of my ideas are stolen from others as well.
Yeah, and by the way, those are PDFs, so we're not able to drop them into the chat feature, but we have everyone's email on the call today, and we'll get those out to you a little bit later this afternoon.
CRM system. We use Advisor Assistant, and we also use Salesforce. Our broker dealer makes us use Salesforce for the security side, but for our own office, we use Advisor Assistant, which has been around for a long time.
All right, Bryon, we do have one question from Jeff Chernoff. He says, how much time do you spend each week on these marketing efforts?
We're always marketing, so all of our time is spent marketing. But as far as specifically on marketing, I would say probably my assistant and I, total man hours, person hours, would be probably about 3 or 4 a week. So a fairly good period of time.
And he also wants to know, can you share your breakdown of what staff works on regarding these things?
I can. I don't know if that's something I can address easily here, but basically, again, we do our social media a month in advance or a month at a time, usually about 45 days in advance. And that takes about 2 hours. The birthday cards don't take that long. It's about another 2 hours. So we're just always doing that. We're always doing things, keeping them in the funnel. Certain times of year it takes a little bit longer. We have a movie night for our clients once a year, a movie morning rather. We hope to have it again this year. The first Saturday in December, we rent out a movie theater and show the latest Disney or family feature. And we give them popcorn and concessions. It's remarkably inexpensive. We get sponsors to do it, and everyone loves it. And we say, bring the kids, bring the grandkids. We want this to be a multi-generational event, and we've had tremendous success with it. And again, I hope we can do it this December. It's always that first Saturday in December, and it really is something that our clients have loved and appreciate.
And we have another question from Margie Berry. She says,
Margie?
Bryon, thanks for sharing such great ideas. Do you have any way to measure the effectiveness of these efforts?
Oh my goodness. The example of the children, you know, growing up and buying insurance is one great reason. Another one is example of the effectiveness. I think the important thing is, and I kind of touched on it earlier, when you're reaching out to your clients, my scheduler is reaching out to our clients and prospects. And by the way, she's been working virtually for the last 2 years. We transitioned to a virtual service model nearly 2 years ago, just in time for the pandemic. We were ready for this. We've just been gangbusters because of that. But the results of our doing all these things, sending the cards, sending the birthday cards and the gum, and connecting with them, results in them being much more likely to respond to our outreach. So if you've ever had a problem calling someone on the phone, who hasn't? I don't think millennials know that you can use the phone for phone calls. Engaging them, the more you can engage them in these different ways, the more responsive they'll be. And it may be by email, but again, it's more, the more you'll be on their mind and the more they'll be apt to respond to you. It's like, Bryon, and they'll think gum, they'll think ice cream, they'll think wine, they'll think all of these different things. So it's something that the whole picture works together, and it really enhances and makes your client service sensational. Thanks for the question, Margie.
And another question from Kelly Keith. She wants to know, how do you do the wine labels? How do you set that up?
These are from Windsor Vineyards in California, and they have, again, it's tremendously reasonable, and they've got all types of wines, and we get about 5 cases at a time, but you can get us use 1 or 2 cases, and they'll personalize it however you want, with your picture, with someone else's picture. Maybe I should have done that, you and your dog, whatever. And again, it's Windsor Vineyards, and I can send that information to anyone who wants it. I don't get paid from them. I don't even get any free wine from it, but most local wineries will do that for you, but we found it's very expensive locally. And if you go to the source like California, you'll usually get a better deal. And I've been doing this for decades, and it works really well. Thanks for the question, Kelly.
And so to be clear, it's not just the labels, it's the wine, the bottle of wine and the label all attached together. And
correct. And by the way, again, we're going to talk more about it on Thursday, and you may have the chance to get a bottle of this wine plus some even better wine than that. And by the way, this reminds me of the old Saturday Night Live skit where the guy complains about the wine at the restaurant, and then they bring him another bottle, and then he complains about that, and the third bottle's free, and he says, for free, it doesn't matter how it tastes. And that's the same thing with our wine. If you're giving them wine with your picture on it, some of them won't even drink it. They'll think, oh, that's so special. My dad still has wine from like 20 years ago. you won't drink it. But it's not the wine so much, but the thought that counts, and the fact that, hey, that's your wine. That's my advisor's wine. Very cool. And they have from Moscato to the dry reds and all in between available, very moderately priced.
Well, that concludes it for the questions, Bryon. And before I turn it back over to President Challam here, I just wanted to thank you for your efforts today and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us about sensational client service. It was a great presentation. The comments in the chat feature, I know you're probably not looking at it, are all extremely positive. So it looks like you hit a home run here with this. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Robert Rosenthal, and Todd Carlson as well. So Joe, I'm going to turn it back over to you to close this out. Joe, you're muted.
Let's try that again. Thanks so much, Tom, and what an outstanding job Bryon did. I wrote down 3 pages of notes. Thank you so much, Bryon. I noticed that there were some messages in chat. They wanted to find out where to sign up for Tips and Sips this Thursday. All you need to do is go to NAIFA-Florida.org and register. Just remember, you need to be a member of NAIFA. Okay, there we go. And also, just some thoughts to share. Number 1, just a reminder, you want to save the date, October 6th through 8th, for the NAIFA P+P virtual conference. I want to share with you, we have something called an idea incubator. We want to hear your ideas. So if you have an idea that can help improve NAIFA Florida, send your idea to IDEA, IDEA at NAIFA-Florida.org. And we'd be happy to learn what that idea is, and then vet it and contact you and go from there. And remember, we always want to know what information is happening around the Federation, and also for advocacy. Lots of sales tips and motivational ideas packed into Advisor Today comes to you every other month. So check your email boxes or go online, Advisor Today from NAIFA. And every month, you will you get an e-journal from NAIFA Florida. These are part of your member benefits. So again, the e-journal, you should have just received the e-journal just a few short days ago. It's archived at NAIFA-Florida.org. And remember, tomorrow is the last day to take the NAIFA member survey and help make a difference on the future of NAIFA. And yes, you do get entered into a $500 gift card drawing. And don't forget that Lilly, Leadership in Life Institute, is being developed for virtual programming. Any questions, please visit us at NAIFA-Florida.org. Give our state office a call, and we'd be more than happy to talk with you about any thoughts that you have. Thank you so much and for joining us today. And don't forget, tomorrow, same place, same time, and Susan Combs will talk to us about Business 101, advice and strategies that will kick your business up a notch. Thank you for joining. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.